Hi, welcome back to Acting with Kira. Today I'm going to talk about how to access different emotions as an actor so that you can always do your character justice. Hi, I'm Kira and I'm really excited to talk to you today about how to access different emotions. As actors, it's really important to be able to tap into different emotions so that you can express your character. So what I'm about to share with you is probably not what you're expecting, so make sure to watch the video all the way to the end, hit like and subscribe with the bell to see more videos like this one. Often when actors feel like they have to hit emotional landmarks, they can end up looking inside themselves. There are many different methods, some of which require memory recall from certain personal experiences, some of which use imagination as their foundation. But in this technique, we're going to do the exact opposite. So rather than looking inside yourself for the emotion, you're going to search outside of yourself. All of your stimuli for your emotions are going to come from outside of yourself. But before we get into it, my number one tip for this is do not worry about showing emotion. Seems slightly contradictory, right? What I mean is if you are busy worrying about whether you're crying or whether you're hitting that emotional point, you're just thinking from yourself, the actor's point of view, and you're taking yourself out of the scene. It's the fastest way to block yourself from actually being able to engage as a character and feel through their emotions. So number one, do not worry about showing emotion. Okay, so like I said, this technique has a focus on looking outwards. So I'm going to start it off by giving you 2 questions to ask yourself whenever you enter a scene. So question number 1, who are you talking to and what do you see in them? So if I'm doing a scene and I'm playing opposite a character called Anna, who am I talking to? Anna. And what do I see in her? Maybe I see an Anna who's threatening. Or I see an Anna who is helpful. Or an Anna who is kind, an Anna I can rely on. Or an Anna who is out to get me. Just by answering this question alone will already change the way in which you deliver your lines, because you're creating some relationship there and the words that you're uttering are going to hold a different meaning. I'm going to give you an example. If Anna has just asked me how I'm feeling and I see opposite me a kind Anna, and my line is I'm fine, this is how I might answer. I'm fine. Or if I see an Anna who is deceitful and manipulative, this is how I might answer. I'm fine. It already changes the dynamic between the two of you. So that is just question number 1. Question number 2 is, how do you want to affect them? So with the Anna example, it could be, I want her to pity me. I want her to see how she has wronged me. I want her to help me with something. I want her to know how loved she is. Be as specific as you can, dependent on your scene and your situation. The more specific you are with the questions, the more helpful they are to you as the actor. So already you can see just from these 2 questions, the scene is already a lot more loaded, but we have been keeping our attention outside of ourselves. Instead of focusing on ourselves and how we feel in the scene, we're focusing on who we're talking to, what we see in them, and how we want to affect them in the scene. So everything thus far has been with a focus outside of ourselves. So the next thing to do is to play the scene. And when doing this, keep your attention outwards. What I mean by this is really listen to what they're saying and watch their actions. And more than this, let what they're saying and the way they're behaving affect you. The more you shift your attention towards them, the easier it will become to be affected by the person playing opposite you. Let's have another example. So say I'm in a scene, and in the scene, playing opposite me is a man called Dom, who is my husband. And in this scene, he thinks I've had an affair. So first of all, I'll answer the two questions. So question number one, who am I talking to and what do I see in them? So my answer might be a dangerous Dom. Who do I see? I see Dom, my husband. What do I see in them? I see a dangerous man. So I see a dangerous Dom. Question number two, how do I want to affect them? In this circumstance, my answer might be to convince him, to make him understand that I am loyal. So we have two things going on here now with our outward focus. One, I'm in a scene with a man who I consider to be dangerous. And two, I need to convince him that I have been loyal to him. So already you're starting to get some friction there and see the stakes in that, which will cause emotion further down the line. Now let's say Dom, as we're playing out the scene, starts shouting at me and starts coming into my personal space. This, along with the fact that I already said to myself, I see a dangerous man, is naturally going to make me feel much more scared and much more intimidated than if I thought he was quite a meek man. Now, this can come out in a multitude of different ways. It might make me cry. It might make me shout back at him and plead with him to believe me. It might make me freeze out of fear, so physically I'm quite still. So there's lots of different emotions that can now come out, but none of them came from searching inwards, and instead they all came from putting our attention outwards onto our scene partner in the situation that we found ourselves in. Another key thing to note with this is that the answers to your questions will change as the scene progresses. So let's say midway through the scene, Dom starts crying and saying, I'm sorry. Suddenly, I might not see a Dom who is so dangerous, and my goal may not be to show him I'm loyal anymore. So the answers change. Instead, at this point, they might be, I see a Dom who is vulnerable. And then the answer to my second question, which is, how do I want to affect them, might be to show him that he's loved, to build him back up, whatever you want it to be, whatever works in your scene. And this way, having these new thoughts in my head about my character I'm playing opposite, my actions are going to change. I'm not going to be shouting at him anymore or crying at him anymore if I see a vulnerable man that I want to build up. Instead, I'm going to want to comfort him. I might speak more softly to him. I might be more tactile or affectionate with him. So you can see the dynamic between these two different moments in the same scene are really different because you're allowing yourself to be affected by your scene partner and therefore altering what you as a character see in the scene and what you need to do. And therefore, your emotions will change as these changes come too. So in both these examples within the same scene, the focus has been outwards, first in the questions and then in watching and listening to our scene partner. So the emotions have come as a consequence to having our focus outwards and really, really letting these things affect us and change us and developing and adapting with them as the scene progresses. If you follow this technique, you'll start to notice that your emotions start to flow more organically and with more ease. You won't need to push so much. This will start to create a really naturalistic performance that's really reactive to what's happening in the moment. So let me know how you get on with that technique. Comment in the comment section below which emotions come more naturally to you. Everyone has different emotions that they're able to tap into more easily. So if there's a specific emotion that you're either stuck on or you're finding really easy to tap into, pop it in the comments below. For more acting tips, follow my Instagram, which is with the slash acting with Kira. I post daily on there with a tip on each picture. And share this video with anyone you think might benefit from this technique, and hit like if you like and subscribe to see more videos like this one. See you next time.